Hey man, it's your boy MMA Habits back at it again with another video, giving my breakdown and predictions for UFC 315 Bilal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena. All right, this is kind of a shit card. I won't lie to you guys. Like them taking off Gilbert Burns and Michael Morales really fucked it up because now the Joel Alvarez is out. Thank God they found a BSD replacement. That's going to be his redemption arc. He's not going to be no longer on a downwards turn. You know what I mean? So let's get into this breakdown. I'm not going to really talk about the prelims and whatnot until the end. So let's just go not chronologically, the opposite of chronological. Let's start off with the main event. Jack Dilla is gonna fucking put some meaty hooks on him. He gonna break him with a couple of them, and I'd say fifth round he crumples him. What is the weight here? What the fuck? Why is it 186 and 169? I don't understand. Anyway, how is this fight gonna go? Well, I tell you this. I don't know how Bilal is gonna, because he's very game plan heavy, right? He kind of looks a little different in between fights. His previous fight with Leon Edwards, he was very pressure heavy because Leon, as we know, he doesn't really have any good like pocket defense or boxing. You know what I mean? He kind of just, as we saw, he just kind of raises his arms in like a long guard, and he kind of gets picked apart a bit at close range. So Bilal was pressuring that fight. However, this is a completely different opponent, right? Leon, he fights on the outside, so Bilal had to get in. But now, Bilal has to fight on the outside, okay? He's going to have to play that long kicking game for a little bit. He's going to have to be very patient. He's going to have to wear on Jack Della. He's going to have to take him down. Sort of what he did in what fight? Vicente Luque fight. He's basically piecing him up at range. Vicente is sort of similar to Jack Della, maybe not as clean, obviously, and whatnot. So I think, my initial reaction to this fight was like, Bilal, I think Bilal is gonna win. I know it's crazy. I know it's freaking crazy, but there is that what if factor with Jack Della Maddalena where you are in there with him for 25 minutes. You know what I mean? We saw in the Gilbert fight. He had a shorter time, and he had to make something happen. You know what I mean? He's very clutch. He scrambles well. He doesn't really give up. He doesn't resign to anything. You know what I mean? But I think how I see this fight going is Bilal sort of like doing very well. He's going to be winning the majority of the fight and the majority of the moments. I would say he wins like the first, few rounds and whatnot. Maybe Jack's gonna have some moments for sure. Like he's gonna crack him with a couple shots. You know what I mean? Like stepping through with combinations whenever Bilal resets. But I don't think that Jack's gonna do. He's not gonna be coming hot out the gates. I think that's what he should do, but I don't think that's what's gonna happen because that's not what he typically does, right? He's very sort of patient a little bit. He takes his time, and it only takes one moment for him. He's sort of like Ilya Taporia in that sense, where he's got that high guard. He's kind of just itching towards you, bobbing and weaving a bit. Maybe he'll like counter you a bit and like step through a bit, but he's really just looking for that one moment. So, it's really hard not to say that he won't find that moment. You know what I mean? Bilal, he's got, I got the hands like Canelo, bro. I got hands like Canelo. No, you don't. Okay, kid. I seen a couple of videos and memes where they're like comparing it and whatnot. He's got some slick hands. I will give him that. I don't, I think he will be tagging up Jack early with some shit. You know what I mean? He's gonna be. I feel like Bilal's gonna be throwing the kitchen sink at him in the first few rounds. You know what I mean? Because as we know, Jack is not very active, so I don't know if Bilal. He's definitely not gonna finish him for sure. But the only way Bilal's gonna win is if he smudges him. You know what I mean? And maybe just is smart on the outside and just really game plans. But I think Jack's gonna have some moments. I really do. I'm not fence sitting right here. I'm actively deciding to pick because my initial reaction was like, okay, Bilal's gonna win. But as I'm analyzing, I'm like, okay, Jack could find the moment, right? He could find the moment. I just keep envisioning just Bilal Muhammad rinse and repeat, taking down Jack or just smudging him against the fence, just wasting the clock, fucking being a criminal to the sport, and just, you know what I mean? Like, just basically stalling out the whole fight and winning moments. You know what I mean? He's going to be winning moments on the feet and stuff. Because one thing I noticed with Jack is when he steps through with combination, I don't know if you've had this happen to you on UFC 4, when you're like playing somebody and like you throw like a 1-2 and like a hook at the end or something like that, and they angle off and you basically punch like nothing. You punch air. That's what happens to Jack Della Maddalena. He steps through with like combinations linearly. He doesn't really like angle like what Ilya did against Volk and whatnot. He is just linear or maybe a bit of an angle, but it's always back and forth. It's never side to side, to be honest. That's why you see often in his fights that he'll miss and like have that same animation where like he's just completely whiffing and, you know, somebody's on the other side. So I think if Bilal uses like footwork and like stays away from him, he'll do good. But you don't. If it's gonna be like the Gilbert fight, he's gonna find the shot. You know what I mean? I know it's fence sitting, but I make my best predictions when it's like they first start moving. You know what I mean? So, but that's not a prediction, is it? So I'll say Jack Della Maddalena wins this fight by TKO in maybe the 4th or 5th round. I think he's gonna crack Bilal, whether it's with a punch or something. I sneakily see Jack Della Maddalena, like, he's not gonna be throwing a lot of kicks, but when he does throw a kick, it's gonna be like devastating. We know Jack's got some pretty decent kicks, like roundhouses, like head kicks, decent low kicks, and like nice knees. You know what I mean? He finished Gilbert Burns with a knee, so I don't see the knees being a factor here. I think whenever Jack's gonna pressure him against the cage, I do see some head kicks coming, because it is there against Bilal. He's kind of a little bit boxing heavy in his style, and like he does have kicks, but just his stance and his guard in general. So I think, yeah, he's for sure gonna track Bilal. He's gonna catch him in a moment. You know what I mean? Whether if Bilal's resetting or he's like, you know, he's winded from like smudging him or like trying to grapple him, and that's going to show in the 4th and 5th round. And then Jack's going to be sort of fresh because he doesn't really expend that much energy. That's a huge factor as well. He's going to track him against the cage. He's going to hit him with some like big meaty combinations, and I don't see it being like a one shot. You know what I mean? I think he's going to be sort of like an accumulation, sort of like what happened with Bo Nickel or even Bilal against Sean. I think Bilal's like just gonna be like progressively getting tagged up more and more, and next thing you know, he's gonna finish the fight with either like a, you know, I don't think it's gonna be a body shot, but I think Jack's definitely gonna be going to the body, and he's gonna be you know, making him think of the low, then he's gonna go high. I think he's gonna TKO him. I don't think he's gonna knock him out brutally. Maybe what I can see is Bilal like sort of rolling around on the ground a bit and like looking up and whatnot, and then Jake's over there flexing, mate, for Australia. But yeah, I do want Jack to win. But also, you have to keep in mind, if fucking Bilal wins, right, we are gonna get that Islam versus Topuria fight, because the brothers, they don't want to fight each other. I know he's not even his friend. You know what I mean? They're not even from the same country. They just believe the same thing. You know. And they've been in their training camp like once. Like, come on, bro. Like, so if Bilal wins, you could get the, you know, the Topuria and Islam fight, because he's not gonna really have any options. But if Jack wins, it's gonna suck when Islam goes. You know what I mean? From 155, he'll never see the Topuria fight, which really sucks. It probably does more for his legacy than would, you know, Jack Della Maddalena or, you know, anyone else pretty much at lightweight. So it's fresh matchup and whatnot, but if he, you know, as I understand Islam, if he beats him in hindsight, it won't look good. So that's my prediction for this fight: 4th or 5th round TKO by accumulation, Jack Della Maddalena. That's my pick. Next, oh my god, Manon Fiorot versus, oh my god, sub glitching. Manon Fiorot versus Valentina Shevchenko. I ain't got much to say. You know, Stop. No notifications, please. Yeah, it's Valentina. She got the belt back in an underwhelming, but yet dominant performance against Alexa Grasso. So she's definitely going to be a lot more hungry and whatnot. I see her dominating for many years now. Still, she looked a lot more refined and she polished some things up in that fight. So as for Manon Fiorot, she did have a little bit of a stinker or a lackluster performance against Rose Namajunas, but I don't know. I think Valentina's just gonna win. You know what I mean? She's the fucking champ. It's the only dominant women's fighter in this division. Do you know what I mean? So she's definitely a bit stronger. She's gonna out grapple her. She's gonna grapple her in moments. Manon might have some high volume moments, but Valentina's just gonna pick her apart on the feet a bit, and she's gonna win. She's gonna win the fucking fight, guys. All right. It's very rare that you see a woman dominate in a championship fight like that. So very impressive for Valentina, and yeah, Valentina for the win, I guess. Nothing else really to say. If you know, you know. In the next fight, featured fight, we got fucking Jose Aldo. What is up with fucking Jose Aldo and these run-of-the-mill bantamweights, dude, or these up-and-coming 135ers? What are they doing to Jose Aldo? You know what I mean? He retired and then he decides to come back and they treat him with the fucking, you know what I mean? All right, kid, you're gonna get these fucking. We want these guys to win and make a name off of your fucking legendary name. Do you know what I mean? So I think Jose Aldo is gonna win. You know what I mean? Amian Zahabi is kind of slow. There's nothing really impressive about him that stands out to where he could beat someone like Jose Aldo. Multiple time world champion, defending world champion. So the Bautista could get by like physically out muscling him. You know what I mean? Like Jose does get held on the cage. He does prioritize not getting taken down versus not getting held on the fucking cage. You know what I mean? He gets held on the cage all the time. You got to leave it on Aldo as well. So that's clearly a glaring weakness that I think Amian Zahabi's probably going to try and exploit. He's going to try and wrestle Jose and not let him get off with combinations and like all these sequences that Jose goes for. Because when he was losing that fight against Mario Batista, he was swinging for the fucking fences. Like he was actually going for Mario Batista. So maybe not the best strategy, but I don't know. I fucking, like, if Amian Zahabi wins, dude, I'm actually gonna fucking crash out. Like, I don't know what would life look like after this. You know what I mean? Every time I love watching Jose Aldo. He's an old man. Let the man win. We want to see him at the top and have these interesting fights with Corey Sandhagen, maybe shot him out. That's a little bit out of reach, but yeah, I think he knows, like, if he wins this, like, everyone loves Jose Aldo. They're gonna give him a jump up. Judging by this matchmaking, I don't fucking know. Like, I don't know if there's, all right, we're giving you Marcus McGee after this one, kid, or we're giving you fucking Vinicius Oliveira. All right, that at that point, Jose should just fucking leave. Like, don't suck up to the UFC like this. I don't know what dirt the UFC has on him and whatnot. I know it was Jose's choice to come back, but yeah, bit dickheady of the UFC. And as for that, I think Jose's gonna win. I think he's gonna beat him by. I know Jose's immune to finishing a fight at 135. I do think he's gonna rock him around a bit for sure. I would love to see a finish, and it would if we were to get a finish from Jose Aldo at 135, it would be like something like this fight, one of his lowest level fights in this division. So, or even his whole career. So, I don't know. I don't want to say third round TKO. I'm just gonna go with unanimous decision. I think Amian might steal around one round. You know what I mean? He's gonna probably out grapple him, for not like wrestle him down, but like he's just gonna hold him against the fence. He's gonna pressure him a little bit more. Jose's gonna be swinging, but he does miss a bit when he starts getting antsy on the feet when somebody starts trying to take him down. So I think Jose's gonna win 2-1. Unanimous decision, okay, or split decision. So that's my prediction. Next, it's a women's fight, isn't it? Yes, it is. Okay, I'm a little bit more excited to talk about Natalia Silva because let me tell you about this girl. This girl is the fucking truth, okay, kid? She's throwing spinning kicks on the back foot, head kicks on the back foot, slick combinations, slick 1-2s. And yeah, I think she's a beast. You know what I mean? She's actually one of those few women with really, really dynamic, like effective, strong striking. You know what I mean? She's not the most powerful because it's women division, but she is like a beast. I will say, like, her striking is very dynamic. As for Alexa Grasso, she is very blocky and she just kind of bobs and weaves and is very linear and doesn't throw many dynamic combinations or doesn't really angle off or anything like that. She sort of just attacks linearly and backs up linearly. And you cannot do that against Natalia Silva, because if you saw in the Jessica Entourage fight, she was like, I know they're a little bit similar. Like Entourage is maybe a little bit less dominant, or she's imposing, but maybe not as much as a 136. You know what I mean? So yeah, she was on the back foot. She got tagged here and there. Like I see Alexa like hitting her with some, like tagging her up a bit. But I think Natalia is just gonna out volume her. I really do. Like I really hope, and she's got good grappling as well. Like Alexa's a good grappler, but I could see Natalia like reversing positions or maybe even like getting on top herself. So she's gonna frustrate Alexa Grasso for sure. Like she has a very frustrating style to go against. She's on the back foot. She's jabbing you. Next thing you know, low kick, back up, back up, back up, back up, and then she's throwing these like in the pocket like hook kicks, lead hook kicks, and lead side kicks to the face, and like lead head kicks, lead roundhouses. You know what I mean? Very, very dynamic. I know like women, they have a lot higher flexibility, so they can get off those kicks a lot more than some men, and it takes a lot less practice. So yeah, I think Natalia's gonna pick her apart. How many rounds is this fight? I think it's is it a 3-rounder? I fucking hope, dude. Yeah, it better be a fucking 3-rounder. Okay, so Natalia is the favorite. So that's good to know. I can't figure out whether it's a 3-rounder or not. So I think it is. There's no way that it wouldn't. Yeah, it's not a fucking 3 or a 5-rounder. There's no way. But Alexa does have the arm reach. I don't know if they're. Oh no, never mind. She has the leg reach. Shit, and she has the arm reach. Okay, never mind. But Natalia is just more of a long rangey striker than Alexa. So I see her picking her apart. I'll go with decision. I don't think there'll be a finish. I think there's going to be moments where Natalia like lands like some flush shots, and I think Alexa's going to land a big meaty 1-2 or some shit like that. Maybe she's going to have moments for sure. I think I think Natalia's going to win by unanimous or no, yeah, definitely split decision, because I can see Alexa taking a round or two off of Natalia Silva. I know, because Alexa's been in these moments more. She's been at the top more, and she's going to have experience, finding a way, right? So I think, yeah, she's going to win one of the rounds. Or, no, if it's 3-rounders, she can't win 2. So she's going to win one of the rounds here or there. She's going to have moments. It's going to be close. It's going to be close, but it's going to be clear enough that Natalia wins. So that's my prediction for this fight. Unanimous or split decision for Natalia Silva. Next, Benoit Saint-Denis versus fucking Kyle who? Prepeliak. I seen that he was in the UFC previously, like 3 years ago, and he was losing to Unks back in the day. If you're losing to Unks back in the day, you know what I mean? Like, you're losing to Unks. How is that even fucking possible? You know what I mean? But they brought him in because he's from Canada, right? And they're like, oh shit, listen here, kid, we're gonna give you a shot. Think about the possibilities that if you could win this fight, kid. Okay? Fed him to Benoit Saint Denis. You know what I mean? Benoit is just gonna maraud on it. I know he's French as well, so the Canadians will have. Actually, they won't even have anything. So, but yeah, because he's real French. He's not a fucking French Canadian. He has no association. But yeah, I think Benoit's gonna put it on him for sure. This fucking bum who's going against like bums on the regional scene. You know what I mean? So I think we're gonna see vintage Benoit maraud on his opponent, mate. Throw some big meaty body kicks. He might be a little bit more patient. You know what I mean? I do see this as a fight where like you could tell the Benoit could have or should have, like finished him earlier, because he's gonna be a little bit hesitant. Like he's not gonna just maraud on him in the first round and get him out of there. He's gonna be a bit hesitant. Think of like Moicano versus Benoit, like second round. Like Benoit was actually winning the first or the second round, or he kind of did, to be honest. But he's just landing shots. He was a bit more patient because he's brutally beaten up. But yeah, I think Benoit Saint Denis early rounds KO TKO. He's gonna put him down the big meaty one. You know what I mean? He's gonna keep body kick, run at him, body kick, clinch, fucking smash knees. You know what I mean? He can't just have a slot fest though and gas himself out and then just get marauded on himself. So I'm going with Benoit second, first round KO TKO. He just marauds on him, puts a lot of pressure on him, lands. He'll be missing a lot of shots over the top, and one of those big meaty hooks is going to put him down. I don't think it's going to be a kick or a knee, so those are definitely going to land, though, for him. So, and as for Kyle Prepelec, better luck next time. Glad you're in the UFC, though. We need another tomato can to beat up and give it, Benoit a redemption arc. All right? Next, Mike Malott versus Charles Radke. Now listen here. Apparently this is rumors. Charles Radke trains at a boxing gym I used to train at, which is quite nearby. So obviously he's not there right now, but he's in Canada, right? So it's kind of interesting. Somebody showed me like sparring footage of him and stuff beating up a kid a bit. Well, he was going easy, but like still he's beating the shit out of him. But yeah, I didn't realize Radke was 5'9", but he's a stout motherfucker. You know what I mean? He's solid as hell. He's got some good boxing. He's got some slick boxing. That left hook's quick. He will catch you. And as for Mike Malott, like his last performance was in Canada. It wasn't actually. He fought what's his name? Mikey fucking Jesus Christ. Jiu-jitsu lightweight or fucking welterweight, whatever. He used to be lightweight. Anyway, but yeah, Mike, he did win that fight, so he's not a very good impressive boxer. He likes to keep his range, and he does grapple a bit. He's got a little grappling in there for him, but he, for the most part, he's just on the outside. He likes to keep his range, and honestly, he does it well enough, but like, bro, like it's not technical whatsoever. It looks like shit to me, to be honest. He's throwing these, it's literally like a level 2 striking on UFC 4. Like he's getting those shitty leg kick animations and like punch animations. You know what I mean? He's got like level 1, level 2 kicks and punches, if you know what I mean, right? You know how you throw it in UFC. If he's got a low level move, he's like, damn, that's a slow ass body kick. You know what I mean? So I don't think, Mike Malott's body kicks are going to be landing on Radke the same. I think Radke's going to be in his fucking face. Like, don't get me wrong, Mike is going to be tagging him up with the jab and low kicks at distance for sure. But I think Radke is going to have more damaging moments, you know what I mean? I think he's going to catch him with a big meaty one over the top. He's going to hit him with a hook or something. He's very quick because he's compact for the division, so he can he's definitely faster and more explosive and probably has way better, mid-range or boxing range and close-range boxing. So I think he's gonna tee off on him a bit for sure. I think the further this fight goes, the more likely that Mike can get finished. So I'd say late second round, early third round TKO KO for Charles Radke. I think he's gonna be tracking Mike Malott down for sure. It's gonna be sort of like the Dan Ige versus Sean Woodson fight, where like Dan Ige was missing his combinations a bit, and Sean was just kind of keeping him at range, and he won the first round. You know what I mean? Even though less damage, right? But he did win the first round, and every round, every second, every moment, he's just gonna get closer, closer, and closer. And I don't see Mike having that dog in him as we saw in that last fight or with Neil Magny, right? He kind of just got broken in the final moment. So I do see Mike, probably landing more than Charles Radke, but Radke's just gonna have the more significant strikes. He's gonna have moments. He's gonna stung him early for sure. Like he's gonna hit him with some hard punches and early for sure. And I think Radke, as the fight goes on, he's gonna find it. He's gonna find it either late second round or third round TKO. All right, that's my prediction for that fight. Next, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck? Why so many women's fights? I guess they just shove all the women's fights in Canada and then they go to Dubai. If you know, you know. Or Saudi Arabia, sorry. But, yeah, I don't, to be honest, I have no fucking idea what the fuck to think for this fight. I for some reason, I've seen a lot of Jessica Andrade's fights. As for Jasmine Judas Vicious, I've heard of her. I've, heard she's not very good. So, yeah. I don't know who the fuck's gonna win. Let's go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by its toe. If a hollers, let it go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Okay. Jasmine Jusuda Vicious. Let's look at the odds first and let's make our okay. Yeah, she's a favorite. Jessica, again, she's been on a downward trajectory. I've heard Jasmine. She's doing alright. She maybe had some stinky fests in the past, but she's simply gonna win this fight. Maybe not because she's in Canada and she's Canadian, and that typically they fucking lose in their hometown. So yeah, but I'm going with Jasmine Judas Vicious. Don't make my brain work too hard for this because I don't want to fucking think about this fight, to be honest. So yep, that's that from you. Jesus, the reach is insane. How is she equal? That's fucking crazy. Anyway, next we have, stop tweaking, bro. Modestas Bukauskas versus Ion Cutelaba, my friend. I tried so fucking hard. I forgot how he even said it, but bro actually might have the highest testosterone in the fucking UFC. You know what I mean? He doesn't give a shit. He'll maraud. He'll break people, and it was good to see him win his last fight against that debuting opponent. So there was hairy moments, but Ion, he finds a way. He just fucking marauds. He's not the smartest bloke in the world, but yeah, we all love Ion Cutelaba. As for this fight, Modestas Bukauskas, he's all right. Do you know what I mean? He's all right. He's not very overly impressive. You know what I mean? I do see him being sort of the longer ranger, maybe more consistent striker, but I definitely see Ion having that spirit in him, having that dog in him to, make something happen, right? Even Modesta's that type of guy to be, technical, but, if you, put it on him, with a lot of, heat and combinations, he will, you know what I mean? He doesn't react the same as he normally would if you give him space and timing. So, yeah, it's very tricky, but I think Ion's going to win this one. I think he's going to maraud on him a bit. I don't know if it's going to be by a decision, but because Ion's a little bit older, he's not going to have that same finishing potential as he used to, because the only way you're really going to get Ion out of there is if you get him out of there early, because he's just going to keep going and keep going. He's going to drag you into his fight. So I don't see Modestas being able to, shut off the lights like some other guys have been able to in the early going, like Ankalaev. He's not as skilled as Ankalaev, or he got some pop, but he doesn't have that technique to go with the pop. So I think Ion's gonna win by unanimous decision, maybe late rounds finish. You know what I mean? I think the over accumulation of damage, or to be honest, Ion's gonna have his coming out moment. Jesus fucking Christ! But he's gonna. Don't tell him I said that. You'll fucking start tweaking. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a coming out party. He's gonna be like, I'm back. I'm fucking back, bro. That's the moment he's gonna have. So if he finishes him, please finish him. I don't know. I'm sorry, Modestas, but I don't know why I'm wishing this on this early prelim fight or prelims fight. So, yep, that's my prediction. first. The Ion's gonna win. He's potentially could TKO. So, but any part of the fight, maybe early. So, that's that for me. Next, we got fucking Navajo Sterling. Okay, I like Navajo Sterling, right? It's a little bit. It's nice to see somebody that I'm like, okay, I'm okay with this fight on the card. You know what I mean? Because this card is frankly like a. It feels like a fight night with the two title fights. You know what I mean? One is like a non-title fight. If you know, you know. But yeah, I think Navajo Sterling is probably gonna win this. He's definitely more composed. He's a young prospect, right? Right? He's obviously younger than this fucking guy right here, Ivan Ersland. So still young. He's dynamic striker. He does, like, if the going gets a little hard, he does adapt very well, and he will make some changes. He doesn't really jitter around, whatnot. So I think Navajo Sterling's probably going to be able to beat this guy by unanimous decision or split decision. So I'm excited for this fight. I want to see what Navajo Sterling's got because I haven't really seen any of his fights. I've only seen highlights. So yeah, I say Navajo Sterling by third round decision or 3 rounds decision, or I don't know. Maybe he finishes him. I don't think so. So that's that. Next, Marc-Andre Barriault versus Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva. Why is Bruno Silva still in the UFC? I don't fucking know. But it's a sneaky pick. I know everyone's like, I don't know, man. Bruno Silva, man. People forget he was tagging up Pereira, man. Fuck out of here, bro. He's a broken man. You don't. When I see this motherfucker fight now, I'm like, what happened? Like, is he scared? Does he think every opponent is Alex Pereira? He's gonna have Alex Pereira power? No. He really lost his confidence in there, because if you see the way he punches now, he's punching with no confidence whatsoever. He probably believes that every single fight he's going in now, he's not going to win, or he's very shaky on his belief. So, stark contrast from when he fought Pereira versus now. Like, it's completely regressed. I don't know if he, like, genuinely regressed, or just every time he fights, like, on the night, he's just... It just doesn't work out for him anymore, because he's like so nervous after that Pereira thing. So people are picking Marc-Andre Barriault. I understand. I don't want to pick Bruno Silva though. I'm done picking Bruno Silva. Maybe he wins. But even in Canada, they'll try and give it to Marc-Andre. I hope, or Canadians can only hope. But I just don't see Bruno like executing. You know what I mean? I don't see him making anything out of this fight. So he's gonna throw away a fight. He potentially is the better fighter. He just can't realize that himself. He was like, oh shit, I gotta start throwing combinations like I do in the gym, like I used to. So if that happens, then it's understandable. But I'm just going with Marc-Andre Barriault. He could finish him, but I just go with decision. Split decision, I'll say. Bruno might take a round off of him. You know what I mean? Bruno might do good at some point. He might realize his talent level at the end of the fight. So I could see that happening. That happens to a lot of people. Brazilians, maybe, like Carlos Prates. So I don't know why I'm relating that to that. But that's that fight. Marc-Andre Barriault decision, motherfucker. All right? Canada will get a win. Daniel Santos versus Kong Young Lee. Now, Daniel Santos he's moving up, right? He's moving up to go fight Kong Young Lee. Damn, Kong Young Lee looks like a fucking bodybuilder in this photo, bro. Did they put that shit on someone else? What the fuck? Like, is that his head and then somebody else's body? I don't know. But, I think Daniel Santos, he's probably going to get bullied around. He's going to be, physically less imposing than Jung Young Lee, right? He's going to have the lighter man skill, as Flukas would say, but Kong Young Lee, man, he's going to have that root. He's going to give Daniel Santos a rude awakening to featherweight, because he's a lot bigger, he's a lot stronger. Even if Daniel Santos is winning, Kong Young Lee can just maraud on him and like blob max on him and just like put it on him, just keep throwing hands and he's gonna fall over. So yeah, that's I'm going with Kong Young Lee, maybe second round, third round TKO KO. I maybe decision, but I think Daniel Santos is gonna have moments early. He might take a round off of him. So and yeah, in the first round he's gonna be a little bit quicker. Kong Young Lee's definitely gonna catch him though, because that's probably what happens most of the time. But yeah, that's my prediction for this fight. Kong Young Lee, second or third round TKO or decision. And it's fence sitting to a T right there. But yeah, first fight to go over, not in chronological order. Betzat Almacan, this skinny little decrepit fuck, and Brad Katona. All right, kid. Brad Katona, he's a little bit bigger. He got a little meat on him. You know what I mean? So nothing really impressive about him, but Betzat, he does have some fishy fights on his record, but people forget, man. On the regional scene, he was TKOing people a lot. He was giving them the business. So I weirdly could see though that like Betzat Almacan, he's gonna have that sort of fucking Giga Chikadze, not Giga Chikadze, Guram Kutateletsi syndrome, where he's just like, he's shredded and he's long and a bit, you know what I mean? But he's not even big for the division. He looks tiny as fuck for his weight. But he's just like underfed, like he's not eating enough he's eating in a calorie deficit, and he's, you know, training 2-3 hours a fucking day. That's what this guy is giving me looks like. He needs to get in the weight room a bit. So I think Betzat, as for that, I think Betzat's gonna win this one. I don't know, by TKO, KO. He does have some pop, you know, he did drop Umar, but I think he's just gonna frustrate Brad Katona. I could see Brad Katona having a little bit more pop than him, maybe catching him with a couple shots. But Betzat, he's not a small guy, or he is a small guy. So especially for bantamweight. So I'll go with Betzat, 3 rounds decision, maybe TKO, because he does have some pop. So yeah. That's my predictions for 315, every single fight in the card from main event to prelims. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure you guys check out G Money Combat. I'll link it in the description. Just follow me on Instagram at G Money Combat and TikTok. I do offer, buy my program, bro. Buy my program, bro. If you're a young fighter and you're interested in leveling up your training protocols, I can you know, I have 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 week plans, all listed on there. The pricing will be listed in the description. It's very cheap. That's the whole purpose of it. I want to give you a comprehensive guide for strength and conditioning and whatnot. And you can also, if you're interested in video call services, you're free. Your first call is free, and then after that, you can, for depending on how much, you know, you or how long you want, the pricing will be listed. So you don't have to buy that from me. I'll link it in the description for you. But yeah, that's my prediction for UFC 315. I'll talk to you guys later with my reactions. Goodbye.